guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we're keeping it simple once again, and I felt like being a little bit basic this day, so we are over in Willow Creek, and I am building a base game only single story house. I've been kind of on a single story house kick lately, and I've also been on a base game kick lately, but I have yet to combine the two, and so I really wanted to build a house keeping those two things in mind. And what better neighborhood to build in other than Willow Creek, which happens to be my favorite neighborhood in the base game, and I'm building on my favorite lot. I just can't help but to choose this lot more times than not. I love how it's a corner lot. It has the sidewalk on both sides, and it has that beautiful river on the right side and also kind of in the back area as well. And you can see the name of this lot in the top left hand corner, and this is a 30 by 20 lot. And this house, it is only a single story house. I just have a couple of decorations on top to decorate it up a little bit, but that's like just fake walls up on top. Even though this is only a single story house, it actually ended up having 5 bedrooms and the 2 bathrooms, so it's not a whole lot of bathrooms, but I feel like 2 is like the perfect amount. There's one in the master bedroom, and then there is also one in the other hallway where all of the spare bedrooms are. And this is a split floor plan concept. I absolutely love to build split floor plans in The Sims. I actually own a house in real life that has a split floor plan concept, and I just feel like it's so realistic, especially for a single story house. And so I have so much fun kind of mimicking that here in The Sims. And so you have the living room when you first walk in. It's kind of like a foyer and then the living room, and that leads to the dining room and kitchen. It's all an open floor plan right there. And then there is the master bedroom and bathroom and walk-in closet technically on the right side. And then on the left side, when you pass the kitchen, there's a hallway, there's that extra bathroom, and then there is 4 additional bedrooms. So the bedrooms are definitely not lacking in this build. It's perfect for a big family that might be a little bit on the budget, even though with that being said, it does end up costing over like 100,000 simoleons, which is kind of crazy for it being a single story house and it's also a base game house. But I just love to decorate my houses here in The Sims. So what can I say? But you can totally download this and then delete a whole bunch of stuff and leave just the necessities, or delete everything on the inside and just download the unfurnished version, and it should be about starter home price at that point. At first I went into this build thinking I was gonna make a budget home, but I quickly surpassed my budget of about 30,000, and then I upped it to 50, and then once I got past 50, I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna keep track anymore. And then there went the rest of the money. And it didn't help that I used a lot of build by catalog landscaping and not debug landscaping, and that will definitely make the price increase like a lot if you're not careful, because some of that can be pricey, especially if you do a lot like I do. As for the exterior of the house and the style of the outside, I'm going with like a basic suburban sort of house but single story version, and I'm using that brick paneling combo like exterior wall paint, and I absolutely love this. It's one of my favorites to use in base game, especially this blue swatch and also the yellow swatch. I almost did the yellow swatch, but then I don't know, I was just kind of looking at it and I was looking at the yellow flower boxes and I was like, you know what, I feel like blue would look even better. And I'm glad that I did change it to blue because I do think it looked a lot better. And it also has a chimney on the left side, and of course I used just like the brick wall paint for the chimney because I mean that's just realistic, you know, I have to do that. I don't think I ever use any other sort of wall paint for a chimney other than brick or stone. Paneling or something like that just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe stucco depending on the type of house, but I don't think I've actually used stucco myself. I think it's really just been stone or brick, and that's it. But we are pausing on the exterior of the build. I pretty much have the design done on how I want it to look, and I do all of the landscaping and everything later in the build. I am now starting on the floor plan, and I am going to go ahead and do the furnishings as well before we go back outside. So as you can see, this is the left side of the build, and this is where all of the other spare bedrooms are. At first I almost did 2 bathrooms over here and then 3 bedrooms, but I really wanted a 4th bedroom and only 1 bathroom over here. I just love the concept of all of these kids having to share the same bathroom. I don't know why. I like to torture my Sims in this game. I don't know why I do, but I do. It's just so much funner, and really honestly, you really don't need 3 bathrooms in The Sims. I feel like 2 is plenty. If there's like an overload of Sims trying to use that left bathroom, then you can go over and they can use the master bathroom. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, so I just like the idea of having 2 the most. In this small of a house, 3 just didn't make sense to me. And then, like you probably seen, the master bedroom is on the right side over there. We are starting on the furnishings in like the main area of the house. This is an open floor plan, and this is the kitchen area. Then you can see the dining room area is over there in front of it, and then the living room off to the left. And honestly, now that I'm looking at this area, it actually looks very, very similar to my house in real life. With how the kitchen and the dining room and the living room is, it's a little bit different. I do have my love seat over there closer to the dining table because I feel like it kind of sections off those rooms a little bit better, and I would have loved to have done that here. I just didn't have enough room. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so I did have to put the love seat in front of the window, but it did look really good there too, so I was pretty happy with it. In the kitchen, it is nice, bright, and white. I actually really, really like how bright and white it is. I really wanted to use these white counters and white cabinets. I don't think I've ever done the like double white like this, but it actually looks really, really nice. I actually really like it. It just makes it look so clean in here, which is always the goal for a kitchen. Like, if the kitchen is dirty, I feel like the whole house is dirty, especially in an open floor plan like this. I have to have my kitchen clean like at all times, or else I'm just not happy. I'm not a happy camper. And I know like my mom is the same way, and I've heard several coworkers of mine over the years say the same exact thing, so I'm not the only one. So to break up the white in the kitchen a little bit, I did do a stainless steel oven and fridge, as well as a sink. And I feel like that definitely broke up the white enough. And then the backsplash, it's white, but it has like some colorful designs in it. And I don't use that backsplash tile enough in my builds ever. Like, I think it is so pretty. It doesn't always work in every house though, and that's probably why I don't use it very often. But with how like white that kitchen was, the colorfulness of the backsplash definitely helped break it up. It had some like blue little like notes, and then also like yellow and orange like flowers on each little tile, and it just looks so happy, and I thought it was so cute. And then I put a sunflower bouquet on top of the islands, and the table is right in front of it, and I actually used matching stools and matching dining chairs as well as I could, and I think I did a pretty good job with matching it. I never use these dining chairs, but I actually kind of like them now. They are some of the most realistic looking dining chairs that we have in the game, and so I'm kind of surprised that I haven't used them. They don't come with the best swatches. I wish that there was more like white trim with different color seats, but I feel like this blue is the only one that has the white trim, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 1 or 2 others, but a lot of them have like a darker trim, which is fine, but I just always love a white trim with everything. And so I just don't love the darker trim. It just makes it look kind of sad and gloomy. On the sliding glass door, you've probably seen, but I did put some of those vertical blinds. I love to do that in The Sims. It's very realistic, and I like to cover half of the sliding glass door. That might not be for everybody, but I do feel like that is realistic. If you don't like that, you could totally just delete the blinds, not a big deal, but I love the way that it looks. And then we also got the living room done too. The living room is very simple. I mean, really not much to say about it, but I do want to say You guys should be proud of me. I did in fact use a different set of couches in the living room. Other than the basic like boxy looking ones that I usually use for base game, I decided to switch it up a little bit, and that blue swatch on that set that I used actually matched really, really good. So I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's just be different. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but the swatch makes it look a lot better with those couches. I feel like they're very modern, and so it's hard for me to get used to seeing them in such a suburban family build, but you know what, I'm just tired of using the same couches. And like I said, that swatch was like too perfect of a combination for this house not to use. It has like the light wood and, well, light beige maybe, I don't know if it's wood or not, but light beige on the bottom and then like a light blue on the actual couch itself. And I mean, look around guys, that's literally the color scheme I'm going for in this house. So I said, you know what, I just have to do it. Just put it down, Kristen, and don't look at it again. It's fine, because if you look at it too much, then you're gonna end up switching it out. And I didn't, I actually kept it, so I was really happy and proud of myself for that. So we got the master bedroom and bathroom done, and I'm now working on the second, like, spare slash main slash guest bathroom, whatever you want to call it. So the master bedroom, I just kept it kind of simple. I only put one skill building item in there, and that is an easel. I almost did the new easel we got with the new quest, but I don't know. There's something off about it. There's something off about it that maybe it's just the design itself. It would look good in a Mediterranean style house for sure. But for like a suburban, I feel like that basic cheap easel just looks the best. And then we have a walk-in closet. I did only put a dresser in there and then a mirror. That's kind of all we have with base game, so that's what I did. And then the master bathroom and the main bathroom, they're both exactly the same, to be honest, maybe with a couple of different decorations, but like the shower, the sink and the toilet, the mirrors, it's exactly the same. What can I say? It's the base game, and I feel like in houses, a lot of the bathrooms typically mimic each other anyways, so it is on the realistic side, so I'll give myself a pass for that. So I'm in the hallway that leads to all of the other bedrooms, and there wasn't a place to fit a computer desk comfortably in the living room or in the master bedroom, and so I decided, since this hallway is big enough, and I kind of planned this anyways when I was doing the floor plan, it's the perfect spot to put a computer desk. And so I did that, and then I put a little bookshelf kind of behind it and then decorated up the area. I put a rug, I put a plant, I put some decorations on the computer desk, put some pictures on the wall, and that's about it for the hallway. I mean, for a hallway, it actually looks really good. Typically, hallways are kind of on the simple, undecorated side, and so at least it's like a decorated hallway. It's a little bit more than a basic one, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I forgot to mention, in the foyer area when you first walk in the front door, there's that like archway that leads to the hallway, and next to the archway I put a little hall table with one of those smart speakers under it, so that can be a radio. I think you can actually turn the lights on and off, and you can do a bunch of stuff on that smart speaker. I can't remember everything, but I remember seeing there's a lot of options on that. And then I put like a plant with some mirrors above it just to decorate up that area. I think it's super cute. And then next to the front door, I put one of those burglar alarms, and I'm realizing now I probably should have put one by the back door, but what you guys can do is lock the back sliding glass door, and the burglar may not be able to go in there. Or you can just add one there too. And I mean, in other words, you can just lock both doors for everybody but your Sims, and then I don't think the burglar can come in. I'm not 100% sure about that. I know it would make sense in real life, but in The Sims, I mean, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, burglars, they can just break in anyway, so maybe the lock doesn't matter. If you guys know the answer to that, feel free to let me know down below, because I am kind of curious if burglars can actually bypass the lock on the doors or not. Or if they're like, oh, well, the door's locked, well, let me go to the next house, you know? In real life, a burglar would definitely bypass the lock. But we are now working on and pretty much finishing up the very first bedroom where all of the kids are. So I decorated this for a teen, And I never use this bed, by the way. I figured it was the perfect time to use it now. And yes, it is functional. They are able to go around that dresser that's there, and then they can sleep on the left side. Unfortunately, with that divider there, they cannot sleep on the right side, but it's only for one teen anyways, and I figured that's fine. I mean, they only need to sleep on one side, and they could totally move over to sleep on that right side if you absolutely have to have them on the right side, or if they have a friend sleeping over that you want them to sleep in the bed with them, they can just scooch over to the other side and then the other person can sleep on the left side. But keep in mind, if you do that, then they will be stuck in bed until that other person gets out. Or if you have packs that has like sleeping bags, you can just put a sleeping bag somewhere in this house and the friend should sleep in the sleeping bag. But I was going to say that bed, I don't ever use it, but I think it is so cute. I absolutely love the bedspread that's on it. It's like blue with some like vines or like leaves patterns in it, and I think it is so cute. And I stuck with that color combination on the walls as well. Pretty much all of the kids' rooms, the teen, the kid, and the toddler, they all have like very colorful rooms, and the wall colorings pretty much matches their bedspread for the most part. And I just think that is so cute. I love doing this in The Sims. It makes the rooms look so happy and cheerful. And in the teens room, they have a computer in there, and that's really the only item that they have in there. And then I put a radio next to the bed. I just thought that made sense for a teen. And then I got the kids room done already, and we have a bunk bed in there. I do switch the bottom bunk bed kind of directly underneath the top one because for some reason my sim couldn't get into the one that's there now. And so I did have to move that, and then I put a nightstand next to it so that it wasn't so empty. And then just put like a lamp on there. But other than that, it pretty much stays the same. I also ended up adding a toy box in the kids' room, as well as a couple of kids' violins just to fill up that empty space where the bed used to be. And then we have a mental table and a creativity table in the kids' room. So definitely plenty of skill building items. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, not only do we have those skill building items for the kids inside, but I was also able to fit one of those giant playgrounds in the backyard as well. And I was so happy that I was able to do that. I never get to use those because of how giant they are. And we had like the perfect amount of space in the backyard to be able to put it next to the pool. Now, with that being said, it takes up basically the whole backyard, but I figured, you know what, that's fine. This is a huge family house, and these parents obviously love all their kids. And not only do we have 2 children, but we also have a toddler and an infant, so that playground will definitely be used. And it's perfect for the motor skill development for The Sims. And so I said, you know what, it's useful, it's a useful item, there's nothing else to put in that yard area anyways, and it's better than leaving it blank, and I never get to use it, so let's do it. So we also got the toddler's room done. The toddler's room is simple as well. I have the toddler bed. I use the car toddler bed just because of how cute it is. And then we have like a little dollhouse. I put a platform in that area just to like break up the 2 areas. Your toddler sim will for sure be able to get up that step, by the way. And then we have a toy box and some blocks in front of the toy box, as well as a large stuffed animal kind of next to their bed. And in the infant's room, we have the crib, we have a dresser. I put one of those like fake toy boxes on the ground just for decoration because I couldn't fit like an actual toy box. They can go to the toddler's room or the child's room to be able to use the toy box in there. It's not a big deal. And then I did put some blocks in front of that fake toy box so that they had some sort of skill building item in there. And other than that, it's basically just decorations, to be honest. It's cute, it's simple, it works, you know, and that's all I can ask for at the end of the day. And that is it as far as the inside decorations go, and I'm now starting to work outside again in the back porch area. I do end up adding a chess table out there, and then in the front porch area I just added a bench with some pillows on there for like decorations, or if you want your Sims to sit outside and watch the road. Maybe their kids are playing outside, who knows. If you want them to sit in the bench, there's one there. And then I also really love to go in the debug catalog and pull out these hanging plants. So in base game, there's no hanging plants at all in the build by catalog. And honestly, even in the Build by catalog with other packs, there's no hanging plants that looks like these, like a basic normal hanging plant that you might see in real life hanging from the porch, you know? And so I absolutely love to take the extra time to go inside of the debug catalog and pull these out. And lucky for me, I pretty much know where things are in the debug catalog now since I'm in there so much. And so it doesn't take that much extra time to do it. Plus, something that is like a huge, huge plus is the fact that it's in the debug catalog, so it is free. It's a free decoration. So if you're trying to build a budget home or a starter home, those hanging plants are like a must-have to decorate your porches up a little bit without spending too much extra money. And there are a few different kinds to choose from, but the ones that I'm using here is definitely the best looking in my opinion. It looks the most normal and it matches the most things, and it's like just a basic hanging plant, which is usually what I'm going for, especially when you're doing a basic suburban like this. It just is perfect. So to be honest, the landscaping in this build, I might have overdone it, especially in the front yard. I just couldn't stop myself. Every time I would place a plant, I'm like, ooh, and it would look good over there too. And you'll see what I mean at the very end of the build when I do place the rest of like the flower landscaping. At first, I always just do the hedgerow bushes just to get like the baseline of my landscaping, which is always the hedgerow bushes. And then I go back and I add the flowers after that. And I do a combination of hydrangeas, like the white hydrangeas, and the big circular yellow flower bushes that I use a lot of the time. They match those yellow flower boxes on the windows like perfectly. So I just love to use those flowers. And I don't normally use a combination of the hydrangeas and those yellow flowers. And it actually looked really good. It's a little, there's a lot going on, okay? I do have to say that, but I do think it looks good at the end of the day. And hopefully you guys agree. So I was also able to fit a pool in this house, and so we have the pool, and in that area right next to the pool, that is where I end up placing one of those giant playgrounds. And then that other grassy area, I fill up with landscaping. I probably didn't have to do as much landscaping as I did, but here we are. I did a lot of landscaping. You could totally delete all of the landscaping in that little squared off area right there, and you can add monkey bars if you really want to. But to be honest, if you have that playground, a lot of kids can play on that playground at once. And it also builds the motor skill, which is what the monkey bars build. So you really don't need the monkey bars since we have this giant pirate ship playground. But like I said, if you want it, you could totally delete the landscaping in that little area and place a monkey bar set there too. It'll be a little bit of a tight fit, but I'm pretty sure it would fit. So next to the pool area, on one side we have a couple of lounge chairs, and on the other side we have an umbrella table and chair set. And I actually customized that table and chair set, by the way. So it's like a normal table underneath that doesn't have an umbrella attached to it, but I really like to take a table that does have an umbrella because in base game there are no standalone umbrellas, unfortunately. So I like to take the one that is attached to a table and size it down one time and then place it under that regular table with no umbrella, and it has a tablecloth so you can't see that extra part underneath. And if you choose a certain swatch, it actually matches, so it looks like one. And I size it down and then I place it like one tier up using the Control 9 key, and then it goes above the table a little bit better than if you don't do the Control 9. But you don't really have to do Control 9, you can just place it and it'll be fine. Your Sims can still use the table. It just looks better a little bit higher. And so if you get ground level and if you really look, you'll see it's floating, but who gets down there, you know? As long as you don't do that, you don't even notice. If you just play the game regular, you don't even know that it's lifted up a notch. But I do like to do that. It looks a little bit more realistic, and I just love having an umbrella over the table in such a sunny area. It just kind of makes sense. And then next to the umbrella table and chair set, we do have a grill, and that's really about it as far as like the different items go for the pool area. Of course, I wished I had the use of adventure awaits right now, because I do love to use those good old water slides. But if you do have adventure awaits plus base game, I would definitely recommend adding the water slides somewhere. You might have to remove the table and chair set or just move it over a little bit, or on the other side of the pool on the left side, it would fit perfectly right there. So I would definitely do that if I were you and you have adventure awaits, because I just love the water slides. I can't help it. I think they're cute and I love watching The Sims go down them. And they just remind me of The Sims 2. The good old days in The Sims 2 when the slides came with seasons, and that was like one of my favorite things in The Sims 2 was like the water slides. I don't know why. The diving boards too, but I think the diving boards was in like the Sims 2 base game and the water slides was from seasons. And here in The Sims 4, they waited until adventure awaits to add them both, which is kind of crazy to me, but I guess better late than never. I still wish that they would have been in base game though, at least the diving boards, you know? So we are now just finishing up the landscaping, and then I'm going to do the terrain paint, and that's really about it. So I do end up adding more landscaping on the other side of that little pathway right there. I just felt like that area needed something. So I added this pathway to go from the front sidewalk leading to the front door over to the side sidewalk. And then on the other side, I do end up adding landscaping like I have here on the corner, right where that sidewalk is. There's like the pool and then the playground. There's those 3 landscapings right there. I do that same thing in the corner in the front. And it's a lot, but I do think overhead it looks pretty good. If you don't like it, you can delete it, but I kind of liked it. I like having a lot of landscaping, to be honest. I don't know why. It just makes the builds look so much more lively and colorful. And sometimes I just can't stop adding landscaping. And on the side of the house where the fence is, I added a gate leading to that side sidewalk. I mean, since this is a corner lot and we have the sidewalk on the side, I just have to add a gate. It just makes sense. And then that is where the outdoor trash cans are. And then of course the mailbox is in the front. And last but not least, I'm just adding some terrain paint underneath all of the landscaping. I do a mixture of like the dying grass and dirt mixed with just the garden soil, and I feel like those two together gives it as realistic of a look as possible. And then at the last moment, in the areas that does not have any terrain paint or landscaping, I grab the terrain paint that has little like flowers in the grass, and I just kind of click around in random spots to make it look like there's some of those like flowers that are actually weeds growing in that area. And I feel like it looks a little realistic with that touch. And that officially concludes our build for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. And if you are looking forward to more base game builds, be sure to leave a like so that you let me know you are enjoying the base game builds. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon. Bye guys!